Hello Magic fans, I'm Beef and welcome back to another Foundation Standard gameplay video. And following on from our video the other day where we looked at elves, today we are looking at kitty cats. Cats is another kindred creature type that has got an okay amount of support in Foundations. And including some other older cats as well, we can put together a pretty powerful deck. So what cards do we have? Well, returning, I think this is the first time I've seen it in an arena, is Savannah Lions. Savannah Lions at one point was the most powerful one drop in the game. It was first printed back in Alpha, so 30 years ago, and a 1 mana 2/1 back then was insane. Well, 1 mana 2/1 without any kind of downside was insane. Obviously now we get 1 mana 2/1s with upside, so it's not that impressive, but it's still a pretty decent card. It was also rare back then, I think, whereas now it is uncommon. We also have Leonian Vanguard. This has been on Arena for a while, but it has been reprinted in Foundations, so it is legal in Standard. 1 mana 1/1. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you can control 3 or more creatures, the Vanguard gets +1/+1 and we gain 1 life. That is not 3 or more other creatures, so it does include itself. We also got Helpful Hunter, which I think is new. I don't know if it's a reprint, but it's a 1 mana 1/1, and when it enters, draw a card. Very reminiscent to Spirited Companion from Kamigawa, which was exactly the same, but it was a dog and an enchantment creature, so it does have some additional synergies. One of the most powerful cards in the deck, Sky Knight Squire, which is new, a 1 mana 1/1, which is pretty rubbish stats, but when another creature enters under our control, we put a +1/+1 counter on the Squire. Then if it has 3 or more +1/+1 counters on it, it has flying and is a knight in addition to its other types. Knight thing isn't relevant, at least for us, but obviously having a 4/4 flyer is really powerful. Then we have 4 copies of Arahbo, the First Fang. I think this is only the second Arahbo card, and I think the other Arahbo card was in a commander set. So this is the first time we've seen him on Arena. It's a 3 mana 2/2. Again, not the best stats, but he's a cat lord, giving other cats we control +1/+1. And that says whenever Arahbo or another non-token cat we control enters, we create a 1/1 white cat creature token. Obviously that cat token will be a 2/2 with Arahbo on the field. So 3 mana gets 4/4 worth of power and toughness, which is very powerful, and obviously buffs our rest of our board. Felidar Retreat is not new to Arena, but it is in Standard again. 4 mana enchantment, has landfall. We choose either create a 2/2 white cat beast creature token or put a +1/+1 counter on each creature we control. They gain vigilance. In all the gameplay video, I don't think I ever played this. I barely even saw it, bizarrely, which is annoying. And you'll also see in the gameplay video that we did have some Fable passages in our deck for Felidar Retreat to get double those triggers, but I took the Fable passages out because they were slightly damaging to the mana base. And not new, but from Lost Cavern and Ixalan, Kutsil's Flanker, 3 mana 3/1 with flash. When it enters, we choose either put a +1/+1 count on the flanker for each creature that left the battlefield under our control of his turn. So if our opponent wipes the board, we can get down a pretty beefy flanker. We can also choose to gain 2 life and scry 2. That's the one we do most often. And then we can choose to exile target player's graveyard. On contrary to the Felidar Retreat, we only have 2 copies of this, but we seem to draw this a lot more. And then the real kind of like powerhouse of the deck is 4 copies of Regal Caracal. Again, not new to Standard. It is from Amonkhet. Well, sorry, not new to Arena. It was from Amonkhet, but it is new in Standard. A 5 mana 3/3 has that Lord text of other cats we control get +1/+1, but it also gives them lifelink. And then when this creature enters, create 2 1/1 white cat creature tokens with lifelink. Obviously, they're going to have to be 2/2s, and even if the Caracal is removed, the cats it creates still have lifelink, although it does give all our other cats lifelink as well. And as you can imagine, Caracal and Sky Knight Squire is a pretty nasty synergy because the Caracal by itself will put 3 counters on the Squire, putting up to a 4/4 flyer. Rounding out the deck, 4 Get Lost and 4 Ossification for removal. I did play around with, there is a 2 mana 2/2 cat that you can sacrifice to destroy target enchantment. I did play around with that, but swapped it out for Get Lost just because Get Lost, obviously, you can take out a greater number of things. One copy of Patchwork Banner, because in Kindred tribal decks. I think Patchwork Banner's pretty good. Buffs their entire board and acts as a mana rock. You could go for more of these, but I think one's okay. Mana base, as I said, I did try with 4 Fatal Passages and a couple more Demolition Field. Demolition Field, you can double trigger Third Retreat as well, because once you sack it, destroy a land, you do get a land itself. But just simplified it: 19 planes, 2 Cavern of Souls, 1 Demolition Field, and 2 3-tree cities, which again in a tribal deck can produce a lot of mana. So how powerful is this deck? Pretty powerful. It has a slightly better win rate than my elf deck, which surprised me actually. I thought the elves would be quicker because you have mana dorks, you can ramp up to bigger things. You could have taken out the Felidar Retreat completely. I said I've not drawn it. 4 mana is a lot, and depending on what you've got on the battlefield, sometimes turn 4, if you've got a Sky Knight Squire, you might rather double spell with say an Arahbo or and a Savannah Lions or 2 Helpful Hunters or whatever. But if you can turn, and also with Felidar Retreat, while it's less likely to get removed, you do want to ideally play it and then play a land in the same turn, which means you want to play it on turn 5, but also you want to play the Regal Caracal on turn 5. So you probably take out the retreat, put in 1 more Vanguard and maybe 1 more Patchwork Banner, or put in those the cats that can take out enchantments. You could also go green white and put in Kutzil himself, which does counters, or it does creatures with power and toughness more than their base power and toughness, which with all out lords is quite likely. Or there's the uncommon from Ixalan Malamute or something like that, which has a similar trigger. But yeah, very, very powerful. I was surprised. And cards like Sky Knight Squire into Arahbo is just, you've got a 3-3 on turn 3. Well, sorry, a 4-4 on turn 3, because Arahbo will buff the Squire. It won't have flying. And then, if you've gone Vanguard or Savannah Lions into Sky Knight Squire into Arahbo, and then if you double spell on turn 4, you're going to have a huge amount of cats and a huge amount of power toughness on the board. So a really, really powerful deck. Really, really enjoy it. As I said in my last video, I really enjoy tribal decks. And we had some in Bloomburrow, obviously some new tribes with mice, bats, squirrels, frogs, but we've not really seen the traditional kindreds for a while, like humans and elves and stuff. So I'm glad to see we've got elves and cats back as well. So had a great time playing the deck. I hope you all really enjoyed watching it. If you do, please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the gameplay. We go first with not the fastest hand. We would like some more 1-drops or low drops to go with our squires. We do have 8 1-drops. Feral Passage would be really good with Felidar Retreat. Well, let's... I would normally attack first, but because our Squire will get a +1/+1 counter, I thought I'd do that. I don't think our Smite's going to be doing a huge amount. Well, and if they want to take the trade, which they don't obviously, the Caracal being able to give our cats a lifelink could be really helpful. Well, let's get this countered. But we need the counters on our creatures, and we need the card draw. Yeah. It's where our Cavern of Souls would be really, really useful. And hell, just an extra land, really. Well, that is an extra land. Kurtzal's Flanker would be good because that can exile our opponent's graveyard. We'll try and get down a Felidar Retreat. But I imagine they have a counter spell. They did go digging, so maybe they don't, but there is a stick. They could have Into the Floodmaw, which they can gift a fish to bounce. Well, that's a big issue. But at least they are tapped out, so if you draw a land... Well, we did draw a land. But it's probably going to be too little too late. Or not. Regal Caracal plus Sky Knight Squire is quite a powerful combo. We go first. Well, Mulligan is such an issue. But at least we have some removal. At least we have more removal. They have their own Squire. They send a planes into their graveyard. Wow, all our get losts. I really want more land. Because Sky Knight Squire and Regal Caracal is such a good combo. I don't... This can just clear their board, basically. Yeah. And we still have one left over. They do have 6 tokens. "24 lands, we only found 4 of them, but 2 are legendary." Wow. Though we've not drawn any other creatures either. Well, that'll get at Squire over the top for lethal. First time we've seen Arahbo, the first Fang, as well in any of the games we've played. We go first. An okay hand. Would have liked a 1-drop. We hit another land. Good opportunity to get Arahbo down. What did they discard? Flow of Knowledge. Hitting for 2. Would like some more cats and less lands. Oh, swing in for 6. I imagine they've got a Hortijin. Maybe an Eddy Merc crab of some kind. Let's exile their graveyard, just so it stops them potentially being able to cast more. And obviously they can tap down a couple of things. Interestingly, they tap something with Summoning Sickness. Sneaky. Not sneaky enough though. And yeah, even if they had managed to untap their Eddy Merc Crab and chumped our, well, not chumped, it would have blocked quite effectively our Arahbo. So we did have another Arahbo we could play out, and we were too wide for them basically. We go first with a keepable hand, I think. Would like one of our cat buffers, cat lords. Depending on what they play, we'll probably just Fable Passage. Well, let's attack in. Up against red-white, so might be tokens. Could be Convoke. Whatever it is, it's pretty slow. Very slow. Oh, let's crack in. Elspeth Smite? Oh, just to get lost. And I'll flash in the flanker at the end of their turn. Unless I need to get lost something. We will scry. Don't think we need another get lost. I'll keep the Helpful Hunter just because it is obviously a redraw as well. Let's play out the Savannah Lions and see what we hit. With 2 removal spells, I don't think we need another one. I just really want a buffer. Well, we can ossificate their token and get lost their Elspeth. It is obviously is the token deck, but they are very slow. They're down to 1. Sunfall? No, just the Archangel. So that should be game. Yeah. A very, very slow game from meant to be quite a quick tokens deck. Legoras. It's not the right name. Opponent goes first, but we've got an okay hand. Hopefully Helpful Hunter can draw us into some finishers. Oh, Another Lunark veteran style card, which has a 1/2 as well, pretty powerful. So full on life gain. I think we can get down the Hunter. There's Arahbo, that's what we wanted to see. And the Caracal is a great finisher. Next turn we can get down the Vanguard and start removing things like their Angel and their Healer's Hawk. At the moment they don't have any payoff for having a ton of life. Well, let's get down the Vanguard and let's ossificate away their Dazzling Angel. And yeah, next turn we can get down the Caracal and then just smash in with everything with life gain. They're up to 38. But I'm actually not that worried. Who's a life gain deck now? They can triple block a few things, that's fine. We're up to 32. We've got more life than they do now. One off. So they can, if they attack with Healer's Hawk, obviously get lost. We can just take out their ley line with get lost. We'll attack all, but hold back Arahbo and the Caracal. And yeah. Yeah. I know, but going against a life gain deck and gaining a lot more life than they do. Regal Caracal is just absolutely bonkers. Buffing our entire team, giving them lifelink, creating 2 1/1s, which are 2/2s because of a Caracal, and obviously Arahbo creating a token as well whenever a non-token cat enters. So just off one card, we created what? 1, 2, 3, like 4 creatures. That's just bonkers. Shame the Caracal only gives other cats lifelink, not itself, but, you know, kind of everything. Well, We might struggle playing Get Lost. Well, let's attack and see what happens. Oh. Phantom interference. Oh, just Fairy Mastermind. I think we hold up the flanker. Probably scry too. Yeah, and then we can just ossification. Ossification, the slasher. Yeah. And then let's get down our squire. Oh, I really don't have a lot of mana, do I? See what we draw into. And let's take out a mastermind. They need... Well, they need a board wipe at instant speed, which isn't happening. They could have just a lot of single target removal. And our squire becomes a knight and takes to the air. They're down to 4. We're still at 18, so we're in a pretty good spot. Although they do have 3 cards in hand and we don't. See, they can create a fish with Fountain Pool. But yeah, obviously they didn't have all the removal to take out our, what, 5 cats? We go first with a pretty good hand. Well, let's Helpful Hunter, see what we draw. Just another land. See what they do. I'm not that fussed about a 2-1. Clearly they are thinking so hard whether to block. I'll just hold up the flanker. Only got 2 of these in the deck. Seem to draw them all the time. It's not bad. They're pretty good cards. Let's scry. I don't think I need Savannah Lions. I'll keep 3 Tree City just because it's going to... Put it on cat. Let's see what we draw into. Just another land. That is quite annoying. Would really like a Regal Caracal or Arahbo. Prefer the Caracal. Take out the Thespian. And yeah, just swing in. I'm not sure why they didn't block the flanker. I would really like a non-land card, please. As an instant as well. They're down to 1. Didn't know Midnight Reaper was in Foundations. Nothing's died. Yeah. Bit of a mishmash their deck was. Yeah, obviously if something had died, then it would have taken out a creature and we wouldn't have had a good attack. And we just drew what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 lands? That's a lot. I know we've got 24 lands in our deck. And Midnight Reaper's pretty good, but it does damage you as well.